and I wanted to come out and take a look and see what's going on. Delegate Mosby is on his way. He's the person who's been raising this issue, and we know that there are obviously plans to use some of the racetrack facility renewal money to build new housing, and there's been some housing that Anne Arundel County has worked with the track on that we'll look at as well, that I believe is in good condition. We'll see, but that's affordable housing. But there are these older units that have been here. Track's been here 100 years. It's an old facility. We all know that. That's why we're trying to, fix up the track. That's why the voters approved 1% of slots money to go to fixing up. Here he is, to fixing up the track. So we're going to look at all that. This is Delegate Mosby. Thanks for coming out. Yeah. So where are we going to go first?
We're gonna go look at a dorm room.
Okay. So, yeah, I know a little bit about this. You weren't here when they built these, right? So I talked to our community development service people, and they got together with the track because of the condition of the housing, and the track wanted to do something, the county wanted to do something, and they basically put together financing, and then you all set up a nonprofit, donated the land, so it's separately owned by the nonprofit that you subsidize every month, and then the management is free, and the rent, yeah, which gets the rent down to $200 a month. So.
And it's just an account we haven't touched. Like you said, the new roof, we put the new roof on.
Right.
Use that account.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and in Anne Arundel County, we don't have much affordable housing. I mean, the housing costs are going up. The market is hot. Yeah, I mean, that's what we. One of the reasons I got elected is we got to do more affordable housing. For the people who work in the county. They come in from other counties to work here, and we don't even have transportation to get them here. So it's a real problem economically, and it's a problem for people. So. Tracks that have stabling, not all tracks have stabling. The standardbred industry doesn't provide stabling or anything.
Dorms or
well, if they provide stabling, there's usually some form of some kind of housing, so that when a horse gets sick at night or gets out of its stall, there's somebody
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of them they're traveling. I mean, they go from racetrack to racetrack, and so. It's hard for them to find permanent housing when they travel.
The workers as well are traveling?
A lot of the stables will travel from one track to another. So they might be here in a certain part of the year.
This might sound like an incredibly boring question. How does the zoning work for this property? If they're upscaling residential housing with that barn?
That's a good question. I'm not sure how you zone a racetrack.
Because, I mean, this is housing, right?
Yeah.
And there's a very specific use in the code.
Yeah. I mean, I know that the health department said that they had a permit for multifamily housing, and that's what they inspect them under. And I know that those new units, which I believe they subdivided the land, because what I read said that they provided 4 acres to this nonprofit they created to do it. Had to have been zoned for multifamily.
I would have figured, but I just didn't know.
Well, we wanted to come out here with Delegate Mosby because there's been a lot of press and talk about the living conditions for the people who work on the backside of the racetrack. But I want to back up a little bit and say something about the history of racing and what's been going on in Maryland. We had, all of the neighboring states had slots, and Maryland racing was on its deathbed. We were going to lose farms. We have 10% of the acreage of the state of Maryland is in horse farms, and that's good for the environment because the pastures are a filter to all the nutrients that would otherwise end up in the bay. And then we got 21,000 jobs that we wouldn't want to lose by having the racing industry here in Maryland. So here we were without any kind of slots, without any kind of revenue to help racing, and the voters of the state of Maryland passed a referendum saying, let's do casinos, but let's take care of racing because they're going to lose a lot of the betting. So 1% of that money was set aside by the voters to go into the racetrack facility renewal account. And that money, it's up to the owners of the racetracks to decide how to spend the money. They get approval by the Maryland Racing Commission. And that money has been used to fix up Laurel Race Track over at the grandstands. They built some new barns. It comes in dribs and drabs each year, and they spend it on whatever the Racing Commission approves. The next project here at Laurel Race Track is to build a new barn with over 100 new units of housing for people who work here so that they won't have to use the old units that were built 100 years ago that nobody wants to continue with. So maybe 1 year left before those units are closed up. We've got the train coming through. We're actually going to have a station so people can get off and come to the track. I think we're making progress. Now, Delegate Mosby is absolutely right. Those units are not really suitable for living in this modern age. And even though they're people who choose to live there, they don't pay rent. They could otherwise pay $200 a month in the new housing that's been built, or they could live elsewhere. There's not a lot of affordable housing in Arundel County. They're getting the track ready for the horses. There's not a lot of affordable housing in Arundel County. The Jockey Club had a choice. They could either close down these units or they could let people live there for free. And they chose to let them live there for free. So it's got to get cleaned up. It's got to get replaced. If the legislature allows them to use this RFRA money to continue the project that they have underway, then a year from now, the folks who are living there are going to be living in new units. And so I don't want the progress to stop. I don't think anybody wants that progress to stop. This isn't about the Preakness and where it takes place. This is about what's going on at the Laurel Race Track, which is in our county, and I support continuing to approve Laurel Race Track.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank County Executive Pittman for his commitment to Anne Arundel County, but more importantly, his commitment to this issue. When I contacted him, he immediately responded. I think he's expediting anything he can on his end, and I truly appreciate it. I know his heart really cares for the folks that out here. What I was able to see during the tour was very very indicative of what the pictures showed, and that is substandard living. I guess my concern back on Monday is still my concern today, that we've known about this problem for 16 years. There's been a tremendous amount of state money that has been put into the horse racing industry to ensure capital improvements are done, and how they have been done around the Laurel track, they have not been done as it relates to the living conditions for these folks. And these are no places that we would want our family members to live in. How it might be normalized for this industry. As Marylanders, we're better than this, and we must do better than this. I'm committed to working with the county executive and anyone else to ensure that the priority is to put folks in good, clean, livable conditions where they're not freezing at night, where they don't have to leave their rooms to go to the bathroom, to take a shower, where we don't have mold everywhere in our bathroom. So again, the pictures showed exactly what we saw out here. I know that they have plans. We need to figure out a way to expedite those plans, and I'm willing to work with the county executive to ensure that we get it done. We know that there's another round of RFRA money coming. Again, I think that needs to be the priority for the state of Maryland. That needs to be the priority for the Steuart group, and I'm hoping that all parties can be on board and understand the importance of this critical need.
Number one, I'm thrilled that there's so many people out here showing an interest in the backstretch, because often the backstretch is a very forgotten place at a racetrack. But the one thing in Maryland, we take pride in our workforce, and the backstretch people are very, very proud people. They care about the industry, and they're Marylanders at heart. The backstretch community, we don't really have a side in the Laurel versus Pimlico, where the Preakness is going. We want to see the racing industry thrive in Maryland. And if that's at Laurel, we're on board. If that's at Pimlico and there's a plan at Pimlico, we're on board. Our people will fight till they're blue in the face to make this industry thrive and succeed. The one thing I think that gets lost sometimes is how much we do care about our people and some of the things that we do for our people. Their living conditions, yes, do they need to be improved? We've been fighting for that for many, many years. We've got a barn that's in pieces here that we would love Delegate Mosby's help, Steuart Pittman's help. We'd love their help to get that expedited and get it moving forward so we can be in more advanced and higher quality living conditions. But also there's a lot of benefits that our horsemen do receive for being in the racing industry. One thing that's very, very important to us is the health care of our people. If you're a member of the Maryland racing community, you get access to primary care physicians here on the racetrack that take care of all their needs, all their health needs, and we manage their whole their health care situation. We also provide a $750,000 a year pension for our people. That people, if you're in the racing industry, you're in the community, you have access to this pension plan. We have a robust recreation program where we take our community members on trips, and we take them shopping, and we take them on excursions to all kind of different places. So we really, really do care about our industry. We care about our people. Our people are proud people, and we're looking forward to growing our industry. And we hope to work with Delegate Mosby as a partner to help us improve our living conditions and move forward to a better tomorrow, regardless of where the Preakness is, whether it's here or whether it's at
What would be your vision or your hope for the living conditions that some of these folks are living in?
We'd like to see our facility that's been purchased, that's been promised for many, many years to get moved, to get expedited and actually erected, and get our people to close these old bunkhouses. This is a 100-year-old facility. You go into any facility that's 100 years old, you're going to have issues. And we've got our issues, and we've got our problems. And we'd like to get forward and start, utilizing this RFRA money to get into some new facilities. And we have them here. We just have to get it across the goal line. And that's what we'd love. Annapolis's help, and anyone else who's interested in helping us, we need your help to get us to the finish line.
Will you guys be keeping free housing after you erect the barn?
We do, yes. That's a plan, and that's a benefit. As all of our services will continue to be a benefit for being a member of our community, because that's what we wanted to do here. We're not just a workplace. This isn't just a job. This is a way of life. This is a community, and that's a community that's often misunderstood. But part of the benefits of that community is free housing if you have that option. Some people take advantage of it, some people don't. But that will continue as we move forward, definitely.